before that, hello everybody. Hello, I'm so happy to be here in Egypt, in Sharm el-Sheikh, sunny and beautiful, very nice, and to meet some old friends here and a lot of new friends. And that is so great. And I want to start to give some appreciation to two people in this room who have really contributed a lot to all of us. I'm talking about Mohammed Tarek. This event, and also Bruno, who has been helping out to organize this behind the scenes. Some of you may feel a bit nervous about what's going on, or maybe overwhelmed. Some of you perhaps worried. Some of you excited. And some of you perhaps really relaxed. So I want to say that all feelings are welcome. All feelings are welcome because we are fallible human beings, and we are just human beings that can have all kinds of emotions. And in the journey of growing, we need our emotions to grow, to become who we are meant to be. Because we as neurosemanticists, we are having sharing the common value to be our best self. And we are not only looking at problems, we're also looking at solutions and asking, how can we learn? How can we grow in order to become our best self so that we can spread our knowledge to our communities, our families, to the world? So thank you for having me here. I'm so grateful and honored to be here on this stage. And now perhaps you're curious about what I'm going to talk to you about tonight. So I'm going to introduce to you the core question. Have you ever felt like you somehow was blocking yourself? That you didn't get your best out of yourself? That you felt maybe a bit stuck? Or even concerned or worried about what other people were thinking? Who has that feeling? Okay. Because that is also the feeling that I had just before coming here. And I was worried about this presentation, and I asked myself questions. What if I make a fool of myself? What if I lose my mind? I know it sounds funny. But that's what really I thought. But what if I lose my mind? What if I get kicked out of neurosemantics? And then I did this pattern. And it was like so powerful. Like really shifting my mind into understanding exactly how to integrate my skills. It became really easy to feel. So this pattern has the potential to transform your life. Would you like that? Yes. So how much would you like that? Yeah? 10. So how would it be like for you to have all your skills available when you are going to do your presentation here in Neurosemantics Trainers Training, to have them available and to have an open heart that you can just share your message. Wouldn't that be great? Yeah? So, do you know that I have some special skills? I know how to read minds. Okay, let me prove it. Okay, I sense something here. Mohammed? Is that you? Yeah? Yes. Gemma? Jason? Some of you seem to be worried about the presentation. Some of you seem to have some fear about making mistakes. If you read the dictionary, it refers to central object. So you can have a core of an apple. So that is the central part of the apple. You can have the core of the whole earth, where there's fire. So what's the core of you? Who are you at your core? Because the core is what is referring to as the innermost part, the central part of you, your heart. Yeah. And a question has the function to explore, to bring out something to another person. So some questions are even unconscious. We are not aware of them, but yet they are functioning to affect us. Because questions, I want you to take the perspective to see questions as frames. And frames, they drive our behavior. So the core question is the frame, I want you to see it as the highest frame. The highest frame that is governing your system, that brings out your innermost self. So it's not an ordinary frame. No, it's the highest frame in the system that organizes and integrates all other frames so that you can be your best self. It brings out the best of you. So would you like to have a really great core question? Yeah. So do you know that you actually already have a core question? Who is aware that you already have a core question? Yeah? Okay. So because the core question is the highest frame. It's the highest frame. So now we can ask, is this core question that you have, is it enhancing your life, making it better? Or is it limiting your life, stopping you? So we can take a step back and we can quality control the core question. So that we can also design the best kind of core question that will transform and integrate our best skills. So how valuable would that be for you? To have a core question that will bring out all of your skills when you are training. So give me a number. 10. Okay. Any other suggestion? 8. Okay. Okay, so it seems like it's really important to have a core question. So let me tell you a story. Many years ago, I was a young medical doctor in the field of psychiatry. And I was invited into the monthly clinical meeting to make a presentation. And I felt, this is my chance. I can really do something here. So I decided that I will deliver the matrix model. And I prepared a lot. I really thinking that I'm going to make this perfect. But in the back of my mind, I was asking myself some stupid questions. Questions that were not helpful. What if I fail? Do they really like me? Can I do this? And so came the day. There were about 30 or so psychiatrists in the room, everybody older than me. And because of the questions I asked, I felt pretty nervous. And started to speak, and it didn't go very well. Just after 2 minutes, 2 of them were standing up, and they just left the room without saying a word. I just kept going, pretending like nothing happened. But it just got worse. And soon came critical questions. Isn't this cognitive behavioral therapy? Isn't this mindfulness? Isn't this hypnosis? And I tried to respond as good as I could. But it continued to get worse. And it was like a war in the room. People were screaming. I felt like they were throwing rotten tomatoes at me. And in the end, I still left a feedback form. And the feedback I got just 2 of them back. And one of them was, go learn cognitive behavioral therapy instead. So I felt so devastated at that moment. It was really a disappointment. I was so deeply disappointed. And actually, the only thing that was good from this experience was that later on, not at that moment, but later on, I took it as feedback for my learning. And I started to question those questions in the back of my mind. And some years later, I was delivering a practitioner, an NLP practitioner, together with 2 neurosemantic trainers in Sweden. And now I felt so inspired. And I was going to deliver the meta model. So the night before, I went out running in Stockholm, and it felt like things were just starting to flow. And I asked myself, I heard questions in the back of my mind, but these questions were of a different nature. They were enhancing questions. How can I make it fun for them? How can I enrich their experience so that they can be their best self? How can I help them to grow? What do they really need? And just like magic, that whole presentation just came to me. I didn't even make an effort. And the next day, I delivered it, and it was just flowing, and I felt so good because I was in the really great flow state. So, some years later, a sunny day in the park, I reflected upon these 2 experiences. And when I took a step back in my mind, I realized that every time that I have been having a good presentation, there has been a secret question in the back of my mind, a hidden question, a question that has been driving my behaviors. And that's how I discovered my core question. Would you like to know what it is? Yes. Probably I shouldn't tell you. So now, before I tell you, the core question is the answer to the elicitation question, the question that I asked in the beginning. If your training or presentation is the answer to a question, what is the question? So my answer to that question is, how can I make it easy for you to learn? And when I discovered that, how can I make it easy for you to learn? It was so powerful in my mind, just changing my perspective, and I felt like it was totally activating all of my resources at once. And also, more than that, because I felt like I was completely into my best self. And that is how powerful a core question can be. So I just turned towards the core question, and I asked, "Will you marry me?" And the core question said, "Yes." So, would you like to know how to design your own core question? Yes. Okay. So, we have 5 steps. The first step is to recall a past training situation that didn't go well, because we want to analyze what kind of questions we had in our mind at that time, and then imagine a future training that is successful. And step number 3, design your core question. Step number 4, quality control your core question. And step number 5, welcome and install your core question. So now I have already come a bit into this presentation, and I realized that I'm a fallible human being who forgot to make an overview frame. So I am going to make it right now. We have been covering the what, the why, and now we are going to do a demonstration, and then I'm going to answer some questions in the end. So right now it's time for a demonstration. So I already asked Zara to be, so please Zara, welcome up. Yeah, so you can sit here. So this demonstration is going to be a sitting demonstration, and during the demonstration, I will not pay attention to the audience. I will pay attention to the client. Yeah. So hello, thanks for coming here. Hi. Hi.
Do you need a mic?
Yeah, it should be better with a mic. Do we have a mic? Well, so I will just set some frames here. Yeah. So you may or may not get a result from this demonstration, because this demonstration is for demonstration purpose. I will do my best to. Is that okay with you?
Yes, of course, I'm good.
Okay. And how does it feel to be here?
Excited?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want
Curious?
to. Yeah, curious. I want to say that I want to validate you that you are so brave to come up here, even the first day of
Thank you
NSTT.
so much. It's my honor.
Yeah.
To be here. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So. So the first step, Sara, have you ever conducted a training that didn't go very well?
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So how was that? What do you notice? What do you remember?
Okay, I do remember a lot of confused faces. I remember how I felt,
Yeah.
how I was not able to breathe properly. I was so anxious. I was.
Okay, thank you. So I'm sorry, I interrupt you
I can
sometimes.
go on forever.
Yeah, yeah, okay. So if you think about that situation, in the back of your mind, did you have any? What was the questions in the back of your mind then?
If I'm good enough for this, if I could have been more prepared, too many things.
Okay, okay. So not very enhancing questions.
Never, no.
Okay, okay. So now think about a future training that is great, that is really going well, that it will be successful. Just imagine such a training.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do.
So when and where will you make your next presentation?
My next presentation? Okay, hopefully at Lucid one day, soon.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And it will be very soon, like in a time frame of a month or 2 months maximum.
Yeah. So what questions will you ask yourself that makes that training successful?
I would want to know how to inspire whoever is sitting in front of me. I would want to know how to be on my full potential for this.
Okay, so what did you need to ask yourself in order to do that?
Um,
What questions would you ask?
what would people expect? How to deliver information properly? How to make sure they come out with the outcome, and actually monitor this and see them change and believe in themselves.
Okay.
But main question to me is how to inspire them.
How to inspire them?
Yes.
Okay, so how to inspire them? So step number 3, when you compare the difference between these two trainings, now you're going to create your real core question that will enable you to be your best self as a trainer. What is that? What is coming up in your mind?
You want the core question or what I'm asking myself,
Yeah.
the difference between them?
Yeah. So when you so just observe these two situations, and just maybe you can think about the kind of core question that would be really enhancing your skills. As a
How to
trainer.
inspire people in front of me, because in the first
Yeah.
one I was mainly focused on me, how I would look and how I would talk. So how to inspire people sitting right there in front of me, trusting me and expecting me to help them one way or another.
How to inspire them,
Yes.
trusting them to help them. So is there a question behind that question?
No, that's
That's the highest.
thing.
Okay, so can you say it again?
How to inspire people sitting in the room waiting for me to help them and trusting me to help them.
Okay, how to inspire people waiting in the room, how to help them and inspire them to help. It sounds like quite a long.
How to inspire people.
How to inspire people.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's quality control this question. What is presupposed in this question?
I'm not sure I'm understanding.
What is assumed in this question?
What's assumed in this
Yeah.
question?
Yeah.
That I don't know how to inspire them, maybe?
Is it?
I'm not sure. I'm still having my doubts. So
Okay. So say the question again.
Okay, maybe they're expecting me to inspire them, but I think this comes by logic because they're there waiting for me to talk to them. So I don't know if this can be taken as an assumption.
Yes. Is it supporting you?
No, it's not. It's not useful at all. No.
So-
That assumption is not useful to me.
No. So let me just ask you: is that an assumption that you have, or is this an assumption that your question has? So because you were mentioning the question, how can I inspire them?
Okay. No, this is an assumption in the question, I think, but I don't.
Okay.
I do not assume. I know they should. I should help them.
Okay. So do you need to change the question?
No, this is what I want, how to inspire them. I actually have 2 questions. Maybe the other one is topping it. If I kind of question myself sometimes if I would be enough to inspire them.
Okay. So that is the core question that you don't want to ask yourself. And instead you want to ask how to inspire them. So let me ask you some other things about this question. Is this a positive or a negative orientation in this question?
Negative, if I'm doubting if I can inspire them, so it's definitely negative.
Okay, negative. Okay, so So, so, so what is the question that you really need to ask yourself in order to inspire them?
If I am enough to inspire them.
If you are enough to inspire them.
Yeah.
Okay, so how would you ask that so that you would actually feel like in your best self?
Okay, in a best self, I
Yes.
would think if I've done my part properly, if I made sure I had the knowledge to inspire people and the tools to inspire them, these would be positive questions for me. These would get me ready. These will not put me down.
Uh-huh. Okay. So where are we now? Which question would you like to use as your core question?
If I would be enough to inspire them.
If you would be enough to inspire them.
Yes.
Okay. And so, and when you ask that question, what state does it put you in?
Anxious?
Anxious. Okay, so that sounds like it's not a good core. So do you really want that core question? That's not good?
No.
No. Okay. So let's take a step back again.
Okay.
Okay, and ask yourself, what if you look at the successful training, that you want to be a successful trainer,
Yes.
what kind of question would you ask yourself so that you can be a successful trainer with all your skills that activates your skills? What kind of frame would you have to have?
Now here I would ask how to inspire them.
How to inspire
What
them?
I can give them. Yeah.
What can I give them?
Not if I can give them. What can I give them?
So what can I give them?
Yeah.
Okay, so is that a positive question?
Yes.
Okay, so that's a positive
Yeah.
question. Good.
Definitely.
Is that ecological?
Oh, yes. Of
Okay.
course.
What modal operators do you have in that question?
I'm not sure. Is there a menu list for this?
Yeah, can, must, have to.
I can.
We can.
Yeah.
Okay. So good. So what was the question one more time?
The question was how to inspire them.
How to inspire them.
Yeah, that's the positive.
So how can I inspire them?
How can I inspire them?
Okay. So now just welcome this question into yourself and just bring it in there and just let it be a part of you. Do you want to make any further adjustment with that?
No, I'm good.
You're good? Yeah? Have you decided to keep this question?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well done.
Good work.
Okay. So before you now do the exercise, do you have any questions about the process? No? It's clear? Okay. So then we will have 50 minutes for each for the exercise. 50 minutes each, yeah?
So it's page 35 or 34 in your manual?
Yeah.
They need to be following the manual?
Yeah, you follow the manual and you follow the questions. And you may not have to ask all the questions under each step, but just enough so that so you take them to the next step. Yeah. So 15 minutes per person.
Okay. So grab a partner and scoot around the room and run this pattern. Time to go. Grab a partner. Decide who goes first. Go through the process, switch partners. When you hear the whistle, switch partners. And then we'll be back here in 30 minutes.
This one is on.
How do I turn it on?
It's already on.
Is it on? Okay.
It does not turn on. You just click on the button. You find it?
Magician. So what time can they come back?
I have already whistled.
Well, it's only been 25 minutes.
No, it's 30 minutes.
Well, we stopped at
Yeah, 7. Yeah,
7.
You are on
so
camera,
it's
so if you
right
don't-
now.
yeah.
So your mic is working.
Yeah, great. Okay, yes. So welcome back from the exercise. So how did that exercise go? Yeah? So did everybody find a core question? Design it? Installing it? So how many did do that? How many didn't really do it? Okay, great. So I want to just mention that sometimes when we do an exercise, we actually, like in the case with Zara here before, when we came to the step 4, the quality control, and it went into that she was accessing a bit of a negative state from the question. Then it's very important to not continue to install that. So that's why I was asking a few questions to take the step back and to access a positive question so that what we are installing in the person is beneficial. So even though we want to demonstrate as quickly as we can, we need sometimes to take a step back and work with the client. Yes. So I want to mention a few things before you have the possibility to ask questions here. The first thing that I want to mention is that what if the pattern stops working? The core question. What is the core question stops working? So the first thing to do is to control your own mind again, to be aware, are there any conflicting questions in the back of your mind, perhaps? Something that is interfering with the core question? And the second thing, you can go back to check the core question, to quality control it again. Is it a core question that has the right qualities so that it is well formed, the core question? And the third thing is to actually create a new core question. And just as you know it, it's not forbidden to have 2 core questions. Or 3 even. In fact, I do myself have a second core question that I'm using when I'm in a really, really bad state. So I use the core question, what can I learn from this experience? It helps me to come back, and then I can access my other core question. How can I make it easy for you to learn? Yeah. So that's one concern. Another concern, or what if, is what if the core question puts you in a bad state? So that could be because the core question is not well formulated itself. So if the core question is problem-oriented, for example, why am I behaving in a wrong way, or why am I asking the wrong kind of question could put you in, like making you focused on your ego instead of being focused on others. Or another example would be, for example, how can I impress Michael Hall? Yeah, if you have that question, that will be focusing on yourself. And as David and Michael was mentioning in the morning, that training is never about you as a no, because it goes through you, and it's always about the audience. It's always about the people who are being transformed in the training. So in that case, it's important to change the core question, create a new one, and make sure that it is well formed. So I would like to open up for questions now. So who has a question that you would like to ask? Maybe we have a mic somewhere, so you can come up here and ask the question.
Regarding to the quality control, your four questions. Okay, regarding to this quality control, regarding to these questions, like we have to speak on a past, present, future. There is a role model we have to use past or present or future, or just for our information?
So the question you ask, if I understand you right, is about the question, what verb tense, past, present, or future?
Yeah, or the other one, which is what model operator I'm using. So I have to say I must, or I have to, or there is no rules.
Yeah. So what's your question?
The question is, there is a rules to show that I asked myself the better questions or no?
Well, so what actually the questions are, the purpose of the question is to help you to analyze that you have a good core question. So when you ask about what is the model operator in this question, then when you ask that question, you are looking at the question and checking. For example, how can I make it easy for you to learn? I'm using the model operator of can. So then I can check. Okay, that is it the one I want, or do I want another one? So do I want? I have to make it easy for you to learn, or I must make it easy for you to learn. But no, for me, I can. How can I make it easy for you to learn? It is what is best for me. So you use those questions to just improve and make adjustments to the core question that you have.
Okay, there is no right or wrong. So whatever questions we are asking, just to
yeah, as long as the question is bringing out the best of you, that it is enhancing you. So then the core question has to have that kind of function. So, did it answer your question?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Shukran.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, in this pattern, question number 5, row number 3, in neurosemantics, we say the question that we don't ask is the why, and we ask the why of importance. So my question is, how different is this why here, row number 3, that says, do you believe this? Is it valuable? And then we have a question why. How different is this why here?
Okay, so you're talking about number 3. Which word is number 5? Okay, do you? Okay, there. Welcome. Okay. Yeah. Because. Okay, so this I understand. Do I understand your question correctly? That you want to know in the when you are installing, why you are asking the why question. What is the purpose of the why question there?
Yeah, that type of a why, because
Yeah.
in our training, we've been advised that the useless question that you can ask as a meta trainer or whatever is the why question, because we ask the
Yeah.
why of importance, not the why. I'm asking, how different is this why here?
Yeah, so this is a place when we're working to install the question. So we are asking the why question because we have created a positive core question, and now we want to ask questions that will make us take ownership of the question. So we ask question like, why is this important to you? So that we will create good reasons for taking ownership of the question. So that why do you want to, for example, if I take the example of how can I make it easy for you to learn? So why is that important to me? Yeah, because then I will be a better trainer. Then I will really access my skills better. So I give myself reasons to install the core question deeper in my neurology. So the question, it helps to bring meta reasons to install the question deeper. Does that make sense? Yeah? Sure? Okay. Okay, any other questions? Okay, so no other questions? Okay, so when I was preparing for this pattern, one day I just felt inspired, and I wrote a little poem. I want to read it to you. Deep inside, you turn your mind through light and darkness, every kind. Within yourself, your shadow grows until your heart, the question shows. And now you feel the truth of life. A stream of light that cuts like knife. So breathe it in, and so be it. Transforming self bit by bit until your dream is coming true. Believe the question that is you. Thank you.
So we'll put you in the middle,
Yeah. Should I put this
between
maybe?
David and I.
All right.
Just pull that chair out.
Yep. Yeah, if I don't need it myself.
No.
Should I not answer anything?
Yeah. You can.
So we're going to spend some time now, just a few minutes, 10, 15 minutes, to do some giving feedback. This is going to be feedback at the master trainer level. So it's going to be at the 3.0, not the 2.5. So we're going to spend some time doing this so that you can see how the feedback on the benchmarks work and how we utilize this. What we always do is to begin by asking, how do you think it went? How do you think, what was the best skill that you demonstrated? And where may you need to raise the quality of your training?
I think that when in terms of what's the best skills I demonstrated, generally I felt like I was not in a perfect flow.
Okay.
So it could have been better. For example, that the overview frame was coming like afterwards, and I kind of put some attention also to that during the presentation. But I think that in terms of engagement, I did well. It was engaging, and I think that I could have asked, if I would have done it again, I would have asked more questions to the audience than I did.
Okay.
And yeah, in my mind, the words were just becoming a little bit more. They were coming out in a little bit better way somehow. Sometimes
They were or they weren't?
they could have.
They could.
Yeah, I was not so satisfied with my state during the.
So what state did you start with?
No, I was relaxed.
Okay.
I actually felt good, but I don't know. I was not in a bad state. But somehow I missed a few things.
Were you double tracking? Were you aware of what you were presenting and then aware of how you were presenting while you were presenting?
A little bit, but not so much.
Okay.
Not so much. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you ready for some feedback?
I am.
So we're going to start with the formatting. If you want to follow, it's in your manual, maybe page 17, 18. It's in the treasure chest manual. You want to follow?
16.
18? 16. So at 2.5, the 3 benefits, the clear definition, etc. So you told us what for a question.
Yeah.
You gave us the elicitation question a couple times. I wrote down one a benefit. Some of the others thought that they caught a couple other benefits, but you can see I put a red line there. I just could not hear the other benefits because you did not punctuate them. It was apparently it was inside of your words, but you never said, and that's a benefit. And that's the second one. And you can also get from this, when you do it, this. So I counted 1, bringing out the best of your skills, your potentials. That's all I heard.
Okay.
I heard 3 of them, but as Michael said, they were not really punctuated. So it was kind of like I was trying to track what was the words you were saying. Turn on your best state at the moment. That was one. The other one was having all the resources available for you. So the recommendation would be to really punctuate, to say like, let me give you one really important benefit.
Yeah.
So that way we understand what you're saying is the benefits. And perhaps mentioning first benefit, second benefit, third benefit, that will make it even easier. And the other thing is that at the end, when you were giving us the what ifs, you gave us some examples of like not really good core questions and what could go wrong. I think if you did that at the beginning of your presentation or in the first part, it will be easier for the audience and especially for the demonstration to understand what was about. But we will cover that later on.
Yeah.
So we put a 2.5 there on formatting. To go to level 3, compelling reasons why and memorable steps. So that would be next level for developing it. The two what ifs, the two caveats really were inadequate. Because if you got a good core question, it's going to put you in state.
Yeah.
So you had a caveat, what if it doesn't put you in state?
Yeah.
Then it's not a good core question. Because if you have a good one, it will put you in state. And what if it stops working? Well, why would it stop working? It will keep working if it's a good core question. So those would not be the caveats, and I would encourage you to think about what would be a caveat about a core question.
Yeah. What would be?
So don't think the core question is going to save you from doing the work of the preparation. It's a good question. How can I have everybody learn to have fun? Well, it's not going to work by itself. Okay, so now I need to do something that is going to, in preparation, help them to learn and have fun. So don't overtrust it like, don't have to do anything now. So that would be one way it could go wrong and someone could misuse it. So under framing.
Under framing, you gave us the definition. It was pretty clear. You defined what was core, you defined what was question, and how you mix them with the core question.
Yeah.
You gave us a preventive frame when you said it's not an ordinary question, it's a special question. And I got one interpretation question that was, I want you to think about I want you to think about the question as a frame that drives your behavior. So that was the interpretation frame.
Yeah.
And I guess Michael got a couple points. I didn't really, but he has some.
So you made some points. Frames drive your behavior. This pattern has the potential to transform your life. So some frames, some points. But once again, I did not hear them really punctuated. Like repeat them twice. Like use a different voice. It was just part of the whole conversation.
Okay.
So I had to do the work of pulling it out. What am I going to take away from this? Instead of you just putting it on a plate and handling it to me.
I see. Yeah.
So under framing, we put 2.5. And all of the things 3 and above would add to it and take it to skills next level. Let's go to engagement, because that's where your skills really show up. So under engagement, at 2.5, we've got inviting responses from the audience. We've got the flip charts. We've got engagement questions.
Yeah.
I counted 6. I counted 5 times the audience laughed out loud. It's a humor. You started with that purposeful pause that invited us to attend to what you were doing. There was drama a couple times with the mind reading, with a young doctor as she acted that out. There was self-disclosure, counted 3 times, and a couple times some meta comments. So we got lots and lots and lots of things here, and we put a 2.7. Obviously, it would be a 3, but it was too much.
Oh.
It was way too much. And especially in contradiction to group rapport. There was so much about you and your stories. There wasn't enough about the audience. So I put a 2.4 on group rapport and a 2.7 on engagement.
Okay.
So under rapport, you did some things, all the basics on 2.5. It was all there, but not much. You can see that I just don't have much written there. And as you said, you would ask more questions of the audience
Yes.
to engage the audience.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it sounds like you have a sense that
Yeah.
it was too much about you and not enough
Yes.
about them.
Yes. That is what I feel. That I kind of didn't get into the perfect state of being completely with the audience.
Connection.
Yeah.
So this is
I
where
had
just
a-
balancing
I
that
had
off.
that feeling. Yeah. Something like that. Yes.
We will see some other people who
Yeah.
will put way too much emphasis on group rapport and not enough on engagement. Or they'll put so much here and not do much up here. So it's about balancing out these skills. So there's a good balance.
Shall we go to voice?
Yep.
So in terms of your voice, Henrik, you had like your tempo was a little bit slow, but then it became even slower. There was a point when it came slower. So the recommendation always is to have like different kind of speeds or tempos.
Yes.
So to speak slowly sometimes, a little bit faster sometimes, and so that's what we notice. In terms of variation, you had some variations in your voice, stretching some words like poor, disappointment, etc. In terms of the volume, it was appropriate all the time. There was a time when the microphone was not working, and we could hear your voice, so it was well projected. We heard your instructional voice, but the discussion that we had as team leaders and benchmarkers was that we didn't really hear induction voice. So that has to do with what we have been presenting already. So to connect with people, you need to induce them. In the demonstration, you need to induce the states. And we didn't hear that induction voice. You're aware of that?
I agree. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what we have.
So by having no induction voice and everything was instructional, I put a 2.0 on this one, and adding that induction, it'd be 2.5.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Under state induction, you induce the state of interest and engagement. That was very strong. Part of that was the humor state. Part of that was the learning state. As you gave us the how to do this, so a lot of learning about that. But once again, no induction voice, which is at the 2.5. And without that, so 2.5 on that.
In terms of the space, the semantics, the choreography, you were using several gestures with purpose. So I count more than 7 times using in the back of my mind and the questions I was asking myself and the question with both hands, so that was consistent. The core question as well, I saw you at least twice using the same gesture. When you were miming, the mind reading, so all that was like dramatizing, so using the space, the stage. I also saw you using different timelines. So when the first story about the medical situation, then some years later, then some years later, and then the present. So that was pretty clean. I don't have anything else to add. So I don't know if you have something
We
else,
put,
Mike.
we put a 2.7 on this one. We thought it was well done. With congruent gestures all the way through and a number of.
Yeah.
So you've got 2.7 on two of those and then 2.5 on the rest. We had it lowered on two of them, 2.4 on the rapport building and 2.0 on the voice for the lack of induction. Last year, your presentation was much, much higher.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
I think it could have been. I think that it's about state.
Okay.
I think it's about state. I believe that I could have delivered this presentation to a higher level.
Okay.
It is possible to do.
Okay.
So I think it's about state. It's about to be in the flow state.
So what will you do different next presentation so that you can be in the right state?
I will ask more questions
Okay.
to the audience,
Okay.
so that they will be more with me. That
Okay.
it will be about the audience.
Okay.
That it will be about them.
Okay.
So I would do that, and I think when I am myself in my more of a flow state,
Okay.
I do think I do trust my voice to have more variation, and that I also would induce more state actually.
Why did you not use the manual?
When
Why did you not use the manual?
use the manual.
You did this whole presentation, didn't even mention the manual. Didn't even mention it. Until I mentioned it's on page 34, 35.
Yeah, well, I mentioned it there.
But that's, so if you had opened up the manual and started here with core question on page 34
Yeah.
and said, paragraph 2, core question about who you are, what you value, where you're going, your inmost intentions, and how you operate. You could have defined it, got it real clear,
Yeah.
the elicitation question.
Yeah.
Let's look at the core questions that will undermine your effectiveness. Am I doing it right? What if I mess up? What if they don't like me? Am I presenting well? Does this ring a bell? You ever had a training where you asked yourself those questions? Well, if not those, then how about these? Do they like me? Will they accept me? Do they think that I know what I'm talking about? What if they don't like me? How much money will I make anyway? See, this is where you can induce the audience into the experience if you use the manual.
Yeah.
So
I see.
everybody else, when you make your presentations, use the manual, for God's sake. How fantastic! You don't have to memorize this thing. It's not a TED Talk where you have to memorize it and come out in 18 minutes, just take the manual. Step 1, recall a past experience.
Yeah.
So you're training people how to experience something, and that's where, once again, it's about them, not you. So use the manual, and don't be afraid to hold it and to read from it.
It's a little bit heavy.
It's not like I didn't want to use the manual. I just felt like I had somehow been practicing a certain sequence, and I just had it in my mind somehow. So
Well, stop it.
okay, good. Yeah.
Stop it. Just
Yeah.
cover the materials, and it'll make it easier.
Okay.
One of the things I found over the years, I use the manual. Today, when I train APG, I'll get the manual. Think about a time that you did not have a lot of strength to face something. And here's a question. and everybody see that on one. We're going to go to step 2. When I do that, then when I sit down to do the demonstration, this is really fresh.
Yeah.
How did I make it so fresh? I read it to the people.
Okay.
It's a secret of training.
Okay.
So now we get to the demonstration.
Yeah.
And we got a lot of problems with the demonstration. So of all the skills, this is the one I think you're going to have to really work on. Number one, thinking ahead. Where's the mic? Is it working? Where are the chairs? And thinking ahead so that it's all ready to go and you don't have those awkward moments. Secondly, never put a table in between you and your client.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because now, now it's like, you got a core question? Let's anchor that. You've really broken the intimacy between you and your client when you have something in between.
Yes. Yes.
And it makes it more awkward.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's harder to now to hear and to do acknowledgement so that everybody else can hear.
Yes.
So one of the problems in this one is I couldn't hear her.
Okay.
And your voice also dropped because there were times I couldn't hear you.
Oh, okay.
And you had a microphone.
Yeah.
So this is the problem with thinking about how to do that demonstration. And once again, there was no induction voice. So this was the weakest part of the presentation, the demonstration. David?
Yeah, I also noticed that you were trying to get another core question when she gave you one that it seems it was working. The first time she said, how can I inspire them? It seems that you were trying to look something else and you start asking one and again. So it was looping. And then that was the place where she came with something that was more self-oriented.
Yeah.
Instead of just going or checking, does that question put you in the right state, allows you to give your best for the audience? She says, yes, go ahead. And you will save a lot of time.
Yeah, because she came up with that in the step number 2, and then I was going to step number 3, which was about designing it.
Oh.
So she actually come up with her core question in step number 2.
So you just go to the next one and say, do you want that one to be your core question?
Okay.
Any refinements? Would you like to refine any word, something else?
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
Instead of insisting, what is the core question?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes. I could have made it
Easier.
much more easy.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
So under questioning, there were 2 questions offered to you each time you restated the question. Each time the information you provided was accurate. And then you checked to see if it was answered, and so the question was just fine.
Yeah.
When she asked you about the why, you said, why is it important? That's not written in the manual, but it's implied in the manual. So it's the why of intention.
Yeah.
Not the why of history, not the why of cause. It's the why of intention. Why of meaning, value.
Yes.
So what do you think? What are you taking away?
Yeah, I think that it's accurate feedback, and that for me, I will work with work with the demonstration,
Okay.
work to ask more questions to the audience, so that the group rapport
Okay, good.
so that it's flowing better with the
Okay.
group rapport.
I know you can do induction voice.
Yes,
I know you can do that.
yes. I believe I can.
Well, I know you
No,
can.
no,
I'm sure.
I honestly felt disappointed about my delivery. So to be really honest, I felt like I was under-delivering.
Uh-huh.
And I do think that the presentation that I have made could have had the potential to have
Okay.
have more.
Well, I've got a pattern for you a couple days from now. It's called Gloriously Fallible.
Gloriously fallible. Okay. Yeah, I'm gloriously fallible.
And you're very open to feedback. That's what makes any person dynamic. That's what makes any person accelerating their growth. And so you've got that working for you.
Yeah. I'm happy.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Well, we're running a little bit late. We want you to check in with your team and team leader, just 5-7 minutes, and then that'll be the final thing we'll do tonight. And then we'll see you 9 o'clock in the morning, fresh and ready to go. Be sure to get good sleep. Don't
Yeah.
stay up and cram. Don't stay up and study. It's best to get good sleep.
Good sleep, exercise, your name tags.
Name tag to your team leader.
to your team leaders. I cannot give you my feedback form because it's electronic.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
I'll send you.
One is enough.
I've got enough.
One is enough. But thank you for the feedback. I agree.
Well, there's always the training we planned for, the planning we delivered, and the training we wish we had delivered.
Yeah, this time it's like what I wished I had.